guys, it's Say back here. Welcome back to my podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about famous scientist Charles Darwin. So, let's dive in. Charles Darwin was born on February 12, 1809 and died on April 19, 1882. He was a world-famous British scientist who majored in the science of biology. He also made groundbreaking theories and helped us understand the world better to this day. His amazing research is also now the foundation of all evolutionary art research, and his story is taught in schools all around the world. Of course, Darwin is most known for his theory of evolution by natural selection. But before we go more into depth about that, let's start with how it all started. Darwin was born to society doctor Robert Warren Darwin and to Susanna Wedgwood, who was the daughter of the Unitarian poetry industrialist Josiah Wedgwood. But sadly, Darwin's mother passed away when he was just 8 years old, and this meant that he would be taken care of by his 3 elder sisters and his father. Darwin was very fascinated by his father's work in psychology, but his father wanted him to become something useful, or a doctor or a priest. But, of course, Darwin had other plans. His father sent him to Edinburgh University in 1825, and in his 2 years there, he started to feel like he was actually learning a lot more. They were taught to understand the chemistry of cooling rocks on primitive Earth and how to classify plants by the modern natural system. But even though he is a biologist today, in those days, Darwin loathed anatomy and surgery completely sickened him. Then, a few years later, his father thought that, hey, perhaps a church would be the perfect place for Darwin's aimless naturalism. So that's what he did. He sent Charles Darwin to Christ College, Cambridge in 1828. Darwin indulged his drinking and beetle-picking passions with other squires' sons and even somehow managed 10th place in the Bachelor's Art degree, 1831. So, how did Darwin go from someone who completely hated biology to someone who made the whole theory of evolution? Well, it all started when Darwin boarded the HMS Beagle in 1881. He was going on a voyage all around South America, and this is where his theory of evolution was made. So basically, his voyage was only supposed to last for 2 years, but they got a little bit late. And by late, I mean 3 years late. So that's right, Darwin was on his voyage for 5 years. But even though it got so delayed, Darwin loved this new thing where he had more time to explore. One day, he arrived on the Galapagos Islands, where he spent most of his voyage on. And over there, he saw so many fascinating birds, animals, and plants, even insects and fossils. He took some samples of them and, of course, like almost every scientist, drew diagrams of them in a notebook. Then he thought of a very, very interesting question, and that was, why are all these animals, plants, and birds different? I mean, some of these birds have larger beaks than others, and some of these plants have more petals, while others don't even have any. So why is this? I mean, why can't they all be the same? Think of it like zebras. I mean, they all have white and black stripes on their bodies, but not 2 zebras share the same pattern of white and black stripes. You won't find a single pair of zebras which have the same stripes. So that was Darwin's question, and this is how he made the theory of evolution by natural selection. Then, while he was on his voyage, he wrote a book which was called On the Origin of Species and published it on 24th November 1859. When Darwin got back to London after his very successful voyage, he saw that a lot of people loved his book and it was a great hit. But not everyone believed what was written in it was true. because some scientists, some public, and even some churches thought that there was no way that his theory of evolution could be true. But fast forward about 2 centuries later, now Darwin's theory is completely what is accepted as the reason for evolution and is used and taught about all over the world. So, in conclusion, Charles Darwin is the very man himself who single-handedly changed how humans look at different species and animals. He's the biggest name of the Victorian age, and his story is spread around the world. I hope you've learned something new today, about Charles Darwin, of course, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Stay tuned and make sure you subscribe to me on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, and I'll see you next time.